Good morning, internets. Alrighty, so here I am back again. I recently did a video detailing and describing my approach to translating or retranslating these chapters from unarmed fighting techniques in the samurai. Excuse me, the sun's in the way. That guy. Yeah, sun's in the way. We're getting our first sun here in Canada since, well, too long. In any case, so I've recently been, well, since 2008, I've been retranslating that book because Kodansha was generous enough to have put the Japanese section or the original Japanese at the back of the book for our reference. And here I am working it over again. So, I already talked about Gyokuryu Koshijutsu chapters, including the Sanshin-gata chapter, the Kihon chapter, etc., etc., etc. So today we have Koto-ryu Koppojutsu. This is, around here, this is some of my associates' favorite chapter. They really like the directness of the tradition. Obviously, all the techniques should be direct, regardless of the tradition. That's just from point A to point B, the fastest path, right? But in any case, Koto-ryu Koppojutsu. This one here is 32 pages long of all sorts of unbridled wonderfulness. Yeah, retranslated the jibber jabber Hatsumi had put in about Buddhism and such. I don't personally understand it, but with any luck down the road, that'll make sense. Boom. So, Koppojutsu. This pretty much goes right into, yeah, and then of course footnotes because that's just how I roll. And then yeah, goes right into the fighting postures, which I think, no, this version doesn't have the photos of it. I do have photos of Kasem performing each of the fighting postures here. I might even add that in at a later date, but I don't believe I've touched this for some time. So yeah, Migi Seigen, Hirai Seigen, Hirei Ichimonji, Hoku no Kamae, Bobi no Kamae. It's the Koraidori of Koto-ryu. Nothing new there. Kenni Tsuite. This is a matter of conditioning and training the hands. If I understand correctly, this sort of infers the Renzoku Waza, or the continuous striking techniques of the tradition. Describes how to make a training dummy, how to strike it, etc., etc. Also has this wonderful cryptic term, Shiden Hako no Isen, which is long-term annoyance for me, but I've come to think that it infers or references that Renzoku Waza. Basically means like 4 heavens and 8 lights in a flash, or something like that. Translates funny. Boom, we swing right into Shoden-gata. Yokuto is a technique I've been practicing for quite some time. It's wonderfully simple, but it highly defines the movement found in Koto-ryu. So that's pretty cool. Boom, boom, boom. Ogyaku, Koyoku, Shito. So that's all the usual. Hosoku, Hoteki. I find in translating the Koto-ryu chapters here, it wasn't as flavorfully defined as Gyokuryu's chapter, where each section had like a little blurb about philosophy or tactics or these sorts of things. Instead, it just kind of goes boom, 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 boom. Shoden, right into the technique. Heikito-gata, right into the technique. I know Shoden in this book ended with a paragraph or two on how to grab the lapel, counting the techniques, the 36 methods, Sanju Roppo Waza, executing Seiri Nage, that sort of thing. Then Heikito-gata, which is basically the Mutadori-gata forms here. Yeah, Sokuboku, etc., etc., etc. All the usual stuff. So nothing particularly new, but it's nice to have the Japanese to reference as well. Then we get into the Chuden-gata. Again, there isn't really like an explicit description per chapter, not in this book anyways. I know there's a lot more flavor in the Densho, but I don't have the Densho. I have this book. It's a thing. I did manage to accumulate different references. Manaka gave a very nice description of this kata, or this collection of techniques, so I've put that in there along with the citation found down in the references here. Boom, hicho, hito, etc., etc. Okuden gata. What's there to say? More the same. Techniques, techniques, techniques. More quote from Manaka. Yeah, not much to say there. Kaiden gata is some of the more interesting stuff because it's got some strategies, how to look at the opponent, how to deal with a stronger opponent, wear them down. Seeing at night, using shuriken to cope with an opponent. And then that wonderful little koppojutsu poem, which I've actually had people ask me if I had that, so it's like, yeah, it's right there in Hatsumi's book. There you go. Page number. Well, here it is by my translation. Fun, fun, fun. References. Much less references than the Gyokuryu one, but I've been working on Gyokuryu for years. And Koto-ryu I focused on for 1 year. But my understanding of massage also largely comes from Gyokuryu, so basically most of my daily practices derive from Gyokuryu rather directly. So what's there to say there? So in any case, that's the Koto-ryu Koppojutsu chapter there. Lots of fun. I am slowly adding stuff to this as Kasem's seminars on omitsukage.com come out and my notes expand and extrapolate. And yeah, so it only gets more and more detailed and more extravagant. I am largely doing this for the sake of kind of helping to improve the martial arts community. We've got a lot of really silly segregation and whatnot around the Bujinkan. I'm personally not of the Bujinkan. I am only interested in the 9 traditions that have contributed to the Bujinkan. If you can't see the difference, then, well, talk to me or look around. That's all. And yeah, accordingly, this obviously takes hours and hours of work, and it would be awfully cool to get some sort of payback, if you will. Testimonials on my Facebook page are awesome on the Classical Martial Arts Research Academy page, which in these documents you can actually find by clicking here. I'm not going to go to that right now because I've got a stack of private messages on my Facebook screen. But yeah, so I put the links in the document itself because self-marketing is a thing. But I'm also on Patreon.com, and if you do feel that my notes and my efforts have contributed to your training or to your life, or I don't know, something, you know, if you're handing them out in class or something, cool, I encourage it, I appreciate it even, I'm very flattered, but testimonies and such don't pay the bills, so I'm on Patreon, and if you do feel that this has really contributed to your effort or into your life in some way, then it'd be really cool to get a buck or two from anyone that, you know, has it, can afford to help me out, and yeah, regardless, my work is free, and I'll do it whether or not